Hi, I'm Sebastian,
Hi, and I'm Juan.
and today we'll be exploring the intricacies of coming up with a compelling and effective value proposition for your business. Get ready and off we go.
How do you optimize your customer's journey, drive demand, reduce churn rate, increase retention, and generate growth? Are some of the questions marketers continuously ask.
Welcome to the Customer XP Crew Weekly Podcast, where we discuss marketing strategies, tactics, ideas, experiences, invite guests and experts to help you with your marketing growth by being customer-centric. And now to this episode.
Hello, guys, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Customer XP Crew, your weekly podcast about everything customer centric. Last week, we introduced you to demand gen and more specifically, how to address target audience. Today, we're going deeper and breaking down the do's and don'ts when creating a compelling value proposition, which is the cornerstone of any business. With me is marketing director and industry expert Juan Gomez. How are you today, Juan?
Doing great, Sebastian. Here about to discuss an important topic for our audience. I think a lot of companies forget either to create a compelling value proposition and they just create a statement. And today we're going to dig a little bit deeper on what is it, how to create one, and how can we really leverage the knowledge of creating a value proposition, how to make it appealing, how to make it short and concise so that people actually understand. So it's a really, really good episode. And I'm really, really very, very, very excited about today.
Agreed. And I think that it always comes down to the question because, everyone always say, okay, how to compete in a world where everybody has an offer for everything, yet we still see successful businesses coming up every day. And I think the question that you should ask yourself regarding your business is, why should I care? You should step into the shoes of your target audience, and ask, why should
Mm-hmm.
I care? Why should I care? Why should I care about your business, and not this and not that? And I think that's even if it sounds obvious, it's where most people fail at the beginning.
Absolutely. And I think by all means the thing with value propositions, it's creating a statement that it's really clear and people really understand it and know why it's like an elevator pitch but shorter. So it's in a few words, explain what you do and how it can help a person. Basically, that's what it is. But let's give a little bit of what we're going to be talking today. So today we're going to be talking about understanding value propositions. How do you craft one? How do you make one? And how you make it compelling? How you communicate your value proposition. And we're going to talk a little bit of some examples of great value propositions. So let's dive right in. Understanding value proposition. So the first thing is to understand what it is. And by definition, it's a clear statement that explains how your product solves a customer's problems and improves the situation. And specifically, you can cite some of the benefits, and it tells the customer why they should buy from you and not from your competitor. So, like I said, it should be a short sentence where you specify the problem and what it solves for that customer and makes you different from the other companies that you compete with. Some of the elements that a great value proposition has is the clarity. So it means it's really, really clear to understand the message. It's
Language.
yeah, exactly. It's relevant, and that's an important point that you touch. Language. So you want to speak in your customer's language, not in your lingo. Each industry has its own lingo. You don't want to speak in your terms. You want to speak in your customer's terms. So you need to have clarity. You need to be relevant. You have to have a quantifiable value, and it should be unique. So clarity, relevance, quantifiable value, and uniqueness. Those are the four factors that really create a compelling value proposition.
And I will add, focusing on the benefits, not on the features. That's I think a regular mistake. When I'm feeling thirsty, I want something that can tackle my feeling of being thirsty. I don't want, if you're selling me a soda can, I don't want you to focus on the ingredients, how it was made of. I want you to tell me that this is going to take away my thirst, you know?
Yeah, yeah. You're absolutely right. So it has to compromise. I mean, I'm sorry, it has to comprehend the need from the consumer. So that's why we really need to know what are your clients need in order for you to create a compelling value proposition. Like you say, like you just said, it's specifically, it's not like, hey, here's a soda, here it is to take away your thirst, because really the need is to satisfy that urge, that human urge that you have. So that makes a better value proposition. And how is this in tune with demand generation? Well, creating a great value proposition will allow you to attract the right clients. It will allow you to differentiate your brand and drive more customer engagement because it has a clear value of why they should choose you. And that's why it's really important and relevant for demand generation. So let's go down to how do you craft one? So first of all, you need to understand your customer. Also, you need to understand your product or the service that you offer, and you need to understand your competition. By having these three things in line and really understanding these three factors, the customer, your product, and the competition, you can integrate the other four factors that we talked about, which is clarity, relevance, quantifiable value, and uniqueness, and unite all of this to create a compelling value proposition. By understanding your customer, you really know what customers want, need, and what they value. By understanding your product, you would really understand what features and benefits of your product and service help solve that problem and take care of the needs that these customers have. And by understanding your competition, you identify what makes you unique that you're selling versus your competition, and you can craft a better value proposition. So let's go down to making a value proposition. So the first thing is be customer focused. Like we said in the beginning, and you pointed out, language is important. You don't want to speak in your terms, you want to speak in your customers' terms. So for example, as a marketing agency that we are, we might say bring more clients, but if we were to speak to doctors, they don't call them clients, they call them patients.
Patience.
So we want to say how to bring more patients, and that's a kind of a statement that we should focus on instead of saying how to bring more clients, because that's how doctors call their customers patients. So you need to be customer focused and speaking their language. So you should focus on speaking in their terms, not yours, and not be overly focused on your company. You want to be specific. So you want to quantify the benefits as much as possible. You want to keep it simple and clear. Your value proposition should be really easy to understand and to remember. Like I said, it should be just a few words. And you want to use, like we said, customer language. I keep repeating this, but it's because it's really important. So you want to have all these things in line in order for you to craft a compelling value proposition.
And there is there is a point that I think it's really vital, and sometimes we tend to miss it. And is that one thing is your solution and all of the benefits that come with your solution. But and we have mentioned this in this podcast several times, and we cannot stress enough. The customer journey is crucial, and I'm talking about the way that your customer interact with your solution. That is also really important. It's not only because your solution can be great and can be magnificent, and at the beginning it might bring you a lot of sales, but with
Mm-hmm.
time, when you are stagnant and when you are still, you will find out that most of the time the issue is how your customer is interacting with your solution. So you need to be careful in each part of the step, because those are the places where you need some twitching and
Mm-hmm.
fixing.
Yes, yes. Um, so that gives in line to how do we communicate your value proposition, which is it's a great transition with what you just talked about. So you have to communicate your value proposition, obviously using different channels. You can incorporate it in your website, your social media, your email marketing, your content marketing, whatever it is that you're doing for a marketing and messaging and communication strategy. By all means, use it, but don't abuse it. So you want to be clear, but you don't want to be up all on their face and be something that's turns out to be not pleasant to have. So just just be create something that is compelling, something that is good, and the same people will love it because it will be easy to understand. Will make it more like more understandable. It's the word that I'm saying, and they will
Correct.
comprehend what is it that you do, because there's a lot of companies that you don't have a clue what they do, and it's really hard to understand what they do.
Yeah.
So to communicate effectively your value proposition, it's about consistency. So it's to communicate it across all your marketing channels so that it develops more visibility, so more people know about it. And you should just test and refine and see how people resonate with your value proposition. And that by incorporating this, it makes it easier to understand your messaging, especially if you're throwing out a promotion or something like that. Your value proposition will make more sense, and a sales meeting will make a lot more sense. And especially high intent clients, they will it will also create more intention because it's easier for them to understand what is it that you do, what are the benefits you provide, and what in reality is going to help you um, or help, sorry, the client get from you as a company by purchasing your services or your product. So let's talk about some great examples of value propositions. So
Yeah. And
do you have
actually,
some?
yes, actually now it came right to my mind when you mentioned that when sometimes we don't know what a company does and we have no clue. There's this service called Stripe, which is a software solution for online payments. And it's really interesting because when you get into the website, the first headline that you see is payments infrastructure for the internet. And now this is really interesting because as marketers, you might think, okay, this doesn't sound as catchy, or maybe it doesn't have enough impact, but for
Has
me
clarity.
it's the perfect example of understanding your target audience. Because when you think about it, and you're starting with your business, and you decide to go online, and you have zero clue of how does the payment services work, what do you look for? Payments infrastructure for the internet. So it's crystal clear, and it has a lot of punch and impact. So I think it's a real good example.
Yeah, well, we talked about clarity. I think one of the things that they have right there is clarity. It's relevant, to whoever is looking for payment processing, and they make it really specific, which is only for the internet. It's not a terminal that you're gonna use at a brick and mortar store. Um, I'm sorry, brick and mortar or establishment or store. It's something that you're specifically doing online. That's
Is niche.
yeah, it's very niche. It's anything that's pretty much online. So that makes it really clear. It makes it concise, and it's relevant. I think that really makes it. Another good example that I found is the one from Slack. They say Slack is where work happens, and pretty much Slack tries to replace everything, and it's like where work happens because everybody's talking together. You can chat with people, you can share, you can integrate with other tools, so it keeps you updated and all this kind of stuff, which for people who are in a business or in a corporation or larger, it speaks directly to the target audience, who are the professionals who collaborate and communicate effectively. And it's really good because it really explains their core benefit, which is it's where work happens. They are the hub.
Yes.
They are the hub for anything in terms of communication for work. So if
And
you're
they
sharing a document, if you have a presentation to do, everything happens through there.
and the way that they managed to seize the pandemic and all of the challenges that came with it, it was genius. It was okay. Now we don't go to the office. Now we bring the office to you. Like they really came up with a way that makes you feel like you are in the office. Like they give you the full experience. That's
Yeah,
another fantastic example of really understanding and tackling directly to your audience pain points.
absolutely. Another one that I found was from MailChimp that I think it's really good. Theirs is send better email, sell more stuff. It's simple, it's short, and to the point.
Yes.
So we really know as marketers that email marketing is one of the best channels to activate customers, especially if you have your own list. Then they have already the experience, and it's a way to upsell and cross sell customers, and it's really good. If you analyze, it's very specific, which is send better email. That's what they do. They allow with tools to create better emails, and the result that you get, which is sell more stuff. As a business, all of us want to
The
have
ultimate
more
goal.
revenue. Exactly. So I think it's super relevant. It conveys the quality, the effectiveness, and it's really simple to understand, and it speaks to the ultimate goal of every business, which is to increase sales. So I think by combining the what they do and the end result, they just crafted an amazing value proposition.
And I think the reason why all of these companies that we mentioned keep crushing it through time is because apart from their unique value proposition, they get in charge of really keep listening to their audience, adapting to it, evolving, because that is also a one side of your value proposition. You need to adapt your business and your value according to whatever is happening in the world if you want to strive and survive.
Mm-hmm.
And the support, the customer support is crucial, and it's one of the main reasons why people keep choosing you.
Absolutely. And just to recap everything that we talked today, so we we understand why value propositions are important, and it's because they create a clear statement that explains the how you solve a customer's problem, and you become very clear, relevant, you quantify value, and you bring uniqueness. So that we spoke about, and it's really good to make sure that you craft as a company a compelling value proposition so that you continue to enhance your communication. We talked about how do we craft one and what are some of the ingredients you need to know. So you need to know a lot more about your customer. What is it that they need? What is it that they value? What is it that they want? We talked about your product or service. You really need to understand how your product or service solves those needs and wants from the customer. And you want to understand your competition and evaluate their value propositions and make sure yours is unique and you're not a me too business saying like, oh, I do that also. No, you want to
Exactly.
be, you want to become something that that is unique. Um, we also spoke about some examples. We just did that, and we also spoke about how do you communicate and bring visibility and consistency, and how you should be testing and refining your value proposition to see what resonates the most with your clients. So I think that's a wrap for today.
Yes. And really
Uh,
under on the
mhm.
having a good understanding of this gets you one step closer to the ideal demand generation strategy.
Absolutely. Well, I want to encourage everybody to please give a like, share, subscribe, and be in tune. Also, we're gonna be launching something called a business clinic, and
Yes.
it's gonna come very, very soon. And it's on Wednesdays. If you want, you can log in for more details at our website at marketing.us, and you can pretty much ask us any question. It will be a live session. We cap it to 30 people max. People will post a question. We will get people to vote on which question it's the best for people to answer. Like they share this question, and we'll answer those in a 45-minute format. And I hope to start seeing you all there, and hopefully we can answer some great questions and give you some advice. This is completely free, so there's no reason not to join. So please visit us at marketing.us and follow us.
It's a no-brainer. And also, if you want to chip in and provide us with some topics or discussions that you would like to see on a marketing XP crew episodes, more than welcome. Any suggestions?
Yes,
So thank you guys for listening and staying with us. Thank you, Juan. It was really insightful. To all of our audience, please remember we are on the hardest podcast platforms. This was the Customer XP Crew, your weekly podcast about everything customer centric. Take care and see you next week. Bye bye.
bye bye.